there, travelers. My name's Kai. Welcome to Proudly Radical. As I was running around to fucking get to the stream, I was, there we go. I was behind from the word go today. Let's see. What we got? Yes, cool boy. You were first. Armlock, thank you for the show and the love. I love that you love this channel. What's up, me, Trey? Eating lunch at work. Sleepy. I just finished eating. Like I still have to go get my cup of turmeric tea that's brewing actually, but I finished eating at 5:29. So yeah, I've been behind the whole freaking way. I'm off working, hang out with kids and wife. Well, good for you, Arm. Yes, and hey RV, and hey Zealot. Well, wait, is Zealot in here? Zealot's been around. I could have sworn. Yes. Hey there's Zealot, and hey Zero as well. Which emote did they use? I mean, hey, whatever. That's Richard Wolff. He's a socialist economist. So yeah. Turmeric tea, gonna drink that before or after you weave your own sandals. You're on teenagers becoming hey Pastique. CMYK Ninja. Fundamentally, I'm just a guy screaming into the void, and welcome to that void. This needs to be a t-shirt. If I ever do merch, somebody betray you're gonna be around for that shit if that ever happens. Yeah, let me know. Like, good idea, Ninja. Good idea. I don't do merch though, but yeah. Let's see. Oh, you're going back to get a poli-sci degree, so you might go to law school. Arm, I'm gonna keep you like you need to stick around. We'll have Jesus. That's if I had to do it over again. I've said that I would probably go poli-sci with a law degree, so I could really fuck with things and systems. Yeah. See. All right. Richard Wolff is always sangry. Chill, it's your video, Richard. FBI won't jump in. Scrolling back. I talked to an egoist transphobe and ended up reporting him. Want to hear the story? It's entertaining as fuck. Yeah, hold on to it for a bit. Like I said, we're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up but by all means. Yeah, Arm, that's fucking really, that's actually badass. I hope you do some good work with that degree. Is it Bessemer? It's Bessemer. Shout out to Bessemer, Alabama, specifically the Amazon warehouse workers of Bessemer, Alabama. They have filed official paperwork. They are voting to unionize. Amazon got caught using private security Pinkertons. Amazon got caught using essentially a modern day Pinkertons. They were using private mercenary spies to infiltrate the group as well. And they got caught doing that too. But yeah, the Amazon warehouse in Bessemer, Alabama seems like they called the fucking Pinkertons. They did. But they got the shit done. They got it filed. Now, whether the vote passes or not, we shall see, because we've seen this happen before where a group manages to get the filing done, but the vote doesn't make it through because of corporate brainwashing and, pressure. Trust me, they're going to lean on them. hard. They're gonna threaten that facility with shutting it down. They're going to do all sorts of stuff in the interim in order to try and ensure that that facility does not unionize. But shout out to Bessemer, Alabama's Amazon warehouse. Aw, you're adorable. 3 minutes ago. Nice troll account. Hey, Memphis. Yeah, I know. I know, Zero. I wasn't even going to bother addressing the complete misunderstanding of political science and civics that was espoused in that very first, let's call it a sentence. It's kind of broken, but yeah. Far left liberal. You know, either just your run-of-the-mill idiot troll, or just your run-of-the-mill moron. What are you going to do? Somebody who just has clearly no understanding of really anything, probably. But I'm willing to engage. If you want to have a political conversation, conservatism. That's hilarious. That account is going to end up banned. And it was created 4 minutes ago. Oh, all right. So let me we'll see. It's synthwave. I may fast forward. I may digital entirely. Oh, so, hey, Solaris. So, anyway, you see, based on LCOE numbers, which is the levelized cost of energy. Solar voltaic is now the cheapest form of energy to build. That takes into account the construction costs of the plant and the equipment itself, the ongoing fuel or operating costs of the facility over its lifetime. Solar voltaic now has the edge. It's $40 per megawatt hour. Offshore wind is $41. Coal is $109. Gas is $175. Yeah. Oh, sorry, $56 for just regular natural gas, and then gas peaker is $175. Hey, Arcane. Hey, let's see. Okay, cool, Zero. We'll talk about. We'll do that then. No, you haven't. You haven't been respectful. The very first thing you said, the very first thing you did is you accused me of hypocrisy after having been in the channel for more than, like, what, 30 seconds? Not more than 30 seconds? I issue them by hand these days, Ninja. So if you're looking for an invite for yourself, I'll give you one, but if you're looking to give one to conservatism, I have to issue them by hand. We had an incident. I still need to pull the command. Hey, thanks for the sub, Ninja. We'll tell you what. We'll never. Generate copy. Give me 1 sec. Let me get to my dashboard. Custom. Save. There we go. All right. If you want the Discord command, No worries, RV. You have a catching a little bit. All right, Ninja, the Discord command is working again. All right, let me see. Don't know, arm. Let me scroll back just for shits and giggles. Why do you hate America? We saved South Korea. Now it's a beautiful neoliberal democracy. Really? This is your debate point, conservatism? That the neoliberal viral capitalism that we've spread to that country is the justification for the exploitation of the working class and the resources of this planet in an untenable fashion. The cruelty that we spread, that's it. That's you went with South Korea. Okay. Okay, cool, Arm. It's hilarious. Well, I guess what you're saying is you approved of more than 2 genders because that's a thing that's with South Korea. You know, the binary gender thing is a recent development and in Western society only. Native cultures, indigenous cultures, the Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia, they've long recognized far more. Yeah, now people in Korea get to work for 14 hours a day, if not more. Top shit. Meanwhile, forward-thinking European countries are talking about 4-day work weeks. Oh, and New Zealand. They're talking about 4-day work weeks and reducing it instead. Technically speaking, the Korean War is the U.S.'s most successful war since World War II. Yeah, that's not a difficult bar to get over, cool boy, but I understand what you're saying. Based on, you know, all of the fuckery in Afghanistan and Iraq and fucking, I mean, Vietnam, and yeah, it's been a good run. Oh, let's see. Yeah, the bar has been set low. Somebody called James Cameron. Shut up and make me money, me try. Kodo, yeah, imagine letting a cuck book telling you how few genders you're allowed to identify as, you know. 4-day work week is doable and a topic here. Also, Arcane, where are you? I thought it was a police action. It was, me, Trey. Good call. No, wait. Was South Korea a police action? I know Vietnam was a police action, but I believe Korea was a police action as well. I think that's how they got around a lot of their war crimes. Yeah, we called the Korean War a police action as well. Netherlands, yep. Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of the forward-looking nations that have at least some level of social safety net still and understand the limitations of capitalism are looking towards that sort of instancing of 4-day work week. No. Sec here. He was looking forward to working with Biden and trying to repair the damage that has been done. I've seen some of the conditions that they're talking about, though. Yeah, if it isn't technically war, you can skirt the Geneva Convention. Yay! Yeah. The U.S. hasn't had a war since World War II, y'all. Just military operations. It's, you know, Sup, Jack? Yeah, I know. There's no, like, you guys have a very interesting relationship with Belgium over there. Well, I suppose not as interesting as Africa, but still an interesting relationship. Mitre, as soon as New Zealand gets the 4-day work week worked out, I'm there. How are the beaches in New Zealand, Mitre? Because, I mean, you know, if I'm going to come visit you. They do, but they have a deal worked out with Australia that makes it easier, Solaris. So as an Australian national, he'll have an easier time than the rest of the world. The one colony the Belgians took from us. Is New Zealand gonna be? No, they've got mountains and shit there. They'll be fine. EU and Africa, also a bad romance. King Leopold II, he was a motherfucker. I'll just put it that way. I've never been there, but I hear not as good as us. Yeah, so that's the thing. You're gonna have to meet me over in Australia, so I can hang out on the beaches. Fuck yeah, that's where I want to be. No, we'll finally get rid of Florida. Just go ahead and, like, Bugs Bunny saw that shit off and let it float into the ocean. Yeah, Miami. A non-insignificant portion of Miami would be flooded. The Keys, which is a loss. I like the Keys. Kind of a breeding ground for douchebags in the last 40 years, though, I admit. New Zealand is named after Zealand. They'll probably build Zealand. They'll probably build a wall to keep the water out before they drown. Yeah, they pull a fucking Netherlands. Florida's boned. Yeah, well, you know. Huge loss. I can't handle any fixed schedule. I need to be able to manage my own time to get the things taken care of and do incident response if necessary, says Coda. That's fair. Today, France's government think about closing dozens of mosques due to links with IS and other terror groups. I haven't seen any stories on that, but I was running my ass off since I got up this afternoon trying to get shit done. Everglades? More like Neverglades. Let's see. Everybody see that they're gonna unveil potentially the Kesteven District Council in the UK is going has commissioned a 300,000 pound, as in British pounds, bronze statue of Margaret Thatcher. Over 1,000 people immediately signed up to throw eggs at it. There's a waiting list of people who want to throw eggs at this statue if they put it up. Yeah. It amazes me the amount of bootlickers that exist in this world. Pro tip, Florida can't swing the... Hey, premarital. Pro tip, Florida can't swing the elections if all the voting centers are underwater. Get fucked, Electoral College. Pestique, isn't there... it's Wahhabism, right? Isn't the Saudi government responsible for funding a huge portion of the mosques? I know they have connections to mosques here in the U.S. and in Australia, because I've seen that story before. But I would imagine that their program to expand Wahhabism to the globe would include France. Let's see. I wish I was a bird. I wish I was a frog. Hobbiism blows. Yes, it does. I need to go get my tea. I don't know all the details because I don't care much. Fair enough. But hey, yeah, gay sex and Jana. All right, I'll be right back. All right. What do you fuckers get up to? Sell it all for. Everybody wants to be something else. I'm always a happy human, even in Dungeons and Dragons. All four of my characters are human. Like an ostrich. Fair enough. Yeah, all the islands. Hey, cat. All the islands are fucked. There's a few that'll be fine because they have mountainous regions. I know, Dominica in the Caribbean has elevation to work off of. But yeah, a lot of the islands are gonna have a problem. I mean, Hawaii, that's the thing with, oceanfront and islands is that by and large, the majority of the population is built right by the coast. So what's going to happen if the sea level rises is look to, what was it, Micronesia that's already having these issues? Cat. Not off the top of my head because this kind of shit I learned when I was 12 and 14. But I think anything you would need, Cat, would be on YouTube. Legitimately. The W3C probably has a good bunch of stuff as well. Yeah. Here, Cat. There you go. All right. Scroll back. There are thousands of mosques in France. Closing some after investigations makes sense. All right, that's fine. Let's just go to Nepal, guys. I don't think you'll need to get that high in your lifetime. Fair enough, Pastique. Sorry I stepped away. Santa Clara County is going into lockdown again. I wanted to hear the message from Santa Clara County police and something. Public health, sorry. Public health. Public health department. Fair enough. Any interesting details that we would like to be informed of, Ninja? It's still a bit warm. 3/4 of the Netherlands is below sea level. Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague, all below sea level also. Yeah, it's... the slugs don't believe in science. It's already hundreds of islands that have had catastrophic sea level rise. I know, and most of them are in Micronesia. Dude, how many thousand islands do they have? It's absolutely ridiculous. Fair enough. All right. Caught up. Mitra, I've been to all those places. Cool. So if they do get wiped off the map, Mitra at least got to experience them. I know how you think. Let me see. Let me update this. Yeah, it's not surprising. What group? The International Law Enforcement Educators and Trainers Association sent out a quote-unquote research document. Whatever that is, it's obnoxious. Sent out a quote-unquote research document riddled with, quote, falsehoods and conspiracies that urged local police to treat Black Lives Matter activists as terrorists plotting a violent revolution. Philip Goff, a Yale University professor, who's an expert on racial profiling, racial biases within policing, straight up said the document was dangerous and is probably going to get somebody killed. The association in October sent a 176 page paper around called "Understanding Antifa and Urban Guerrilla Warfare." The document, labeled "Restricted to Law Enforcement Only," is one of the few public materials available on their website. So let me give me one sec. This is gonna be fun. Resources. Yeah, Chicago 8, anyone? So let's see. Let me find the document. Did anybody back up the document? Because I'm pretty sure they pulled it off their website after fucking everybody called them out on it. Boo. Boo. I'm gonna have to go fucking search for it. Yeah. Fucking tracking down the original link for it, though, is going to be the problem. What page they actually had it under. Because they are a members-only organization. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, 404 on that one. All right, so... Wait. I think they scrubbed their website. Their main homepage literally comes up with nothing found. Sorry, the post you're looking for is not available. They fucking, they went to town on this shit. Learning lab. No. That's funny. All right. Let me throw these assholes into the Wayback Machine and see what we come up with. And this happened... Oh, wrong one. Okay. Let's go to the 18th. 12:45. Let's see. Let me scroll back a ways here. Next time, visit the city I'm in called Groningen. Way north and your German border. Joe lived there. The BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, will forcibly require everyone to sustain the health, diversity, and productivity of public lands for the use and enjoyment of present and future generations. Fuck yeah. It is funny living out west and having that BLM reference in your head, because long before there was Bureau of Land Management, long before there was Black Lives Matter, there was Bureau of Land Management. All right, this is a non-broken website. Now let's see what we have. Yeah, they literally scrubbed their website. Holy shit, they scrubbed their website. All right. So what did they call this bullshit? Okay. Oh, lovely. That page isn't available due to the way Wayback works. So I would have to find the actual resource. Man, why didn't anybody fucking cache this in their stupid fucking articles about it? I want this document. Yeah, well. Let's see. What do we know about it? Jesus Christ. Their executive director, a douchebag by the name of Harvey Hedden, of course, defended the document, argued that fact-checking the paper or restricting its distribution would amount to censorship. Okay, this is a law enforcement organization, a law enforcement, like, membership organization that is sending around documents talking about guerrilla warfare with Antifa and calling BLM calling for treatment of BLM activists as terrorists. And he says, literally, fact-checking the paper or restricting its distribution would amount to censorship. I love it when they say, like, the fact-checking is censorship. No. Hey, Ace. Oh, yeah, Pastique. We had a good laugh about him last night. I prefer this one. Stop me if you've heard this one before. A far-right anti-LGBTQ pro-family lawmaker responsible for drafting Hungary's pro-Christian constitution that bans same-sex marriage was arrested fleeing an all-gay orgy in Belgium that violated Brussels' coronavirus lockdown. Love that one. Interesting. There will always be a difference of opinions on training issues, but so long as those disagreements remain professional and we get to shoot black people in the street, So as long as the disagreements remain professional and not personal, we do not censor these ideas. Interesting. Their mission statement says they are committed to the reduction of law enforcement risk. Hey, two rabbits. We're just talking about a law enforcement training group. The International Law Enforcement Educators and Training Association sent around a document calling for for police to treat BLM activists as terrorists, and sent around another document talking about where was it? It was understanding Antifa and urban guerrilla warfare. And then they went on to the leader of it went on to say about how fact-checking things is censorship. Hey, John. And yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. And the organization themselves, thank you for the follow, says that they're committed to the reduction of law enforcement risk. They say nothing about the community. Weren't they treating BLM as a terrorist organization already? Hey, Peach. No, they were just treating them like any group of black activists that they've always treated them. I think there is a difference coming from an anarchistic side. John Doe. Oh, yeah. Hang on. Drop it in wherever. Show it off, John Doe. Drop it into shared content on the Discord server. Oh, thank you, Ace. I had that one commissioned. They, them. All right. All right, close that. Oh, let's see what. Oh, interesting. This should be interesting. Lafayette government argues in lawsuit that fake Antifa events aren't protected for speech. A pair of fake Antifa events on Facebook aren't protected forms of speech, and that the event creator should be liable for the costs incurred from police. So they set up fake events, and the police responded, and there was nothing happening. Brilliant. Adley also argued the events violated a Louisiana law prohibiting people from transmitting false information that may endanger public safety with the intent to prompt an emergency response by law enforcement. That type of move dissolves free speech protections, he argued. Fuck off. Bootlicking thug. Yeah, fact-checking is censorship. All right. I was going to say, coming from like the 1880-1920 anarchistic movement and, you know, the civil rights movement in the 60s and how they actually did treat them like terrorists. I mean, yes, they're starting. They started to, and I'm sure they're running some COINTELPRO style shit for BLM as well, whatever they're calling it these days. We'll find out when it's declassified in 60 years. Kodo. Only a couple of drug prices in a couple of places, and we were attempting to rely upon the Canadian drug market to bolster ours. The Canadians who used collective bargaining to lower their drug prices have already said that they're not letting Americans take advantage of this. see. Good for you, Pestique. Good for you. Hey, Demian. Giuliani, Sidney Powell. Dude, the Kraken is hilarious, by the way. If you haven't read it, go ahead and read it. Even though it's a legal filing, I know it's a bit obnoxious to read for most people. Go ahead and read it. It is a hilarious document. It is written by a poorly educated high schooler, maybe. The grammatical and spelling errors alone make it a hilarious read. But then the claims that she makes in the Kraken are ridiculous. They really are. So yeah, go ahead and give it a read if you want. But I mean, Giuliani and Powell are fucking jokes to most people anyway at this point. They're suing the comedian as well as his mother. Yeah, I saw that. They're trying to hold them liable for it. The Sidney Powell shit is straight up Nazi fascist shit. Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Do you think Trump can actually pardon himself? No, but he'll just pull a Nixon and let Pence do it. I think it's generally agreed legal. The language, specifically one word, grant, is the term, the actual, because there is a legal definition for grant, and grant is something that you give to someone else. And so the legal opinions I've seen thus far surrounding the language about presidential pardons seems to indicate that it would not be possible for him to grant himself a pardon. He could try, but the easier route would just to go the Nixon route and resign with a couple of days left and have Pence pardon him. That's perfectly legal. And we've done preemptive pardons before. He doesn't have to be convicted of anything. He doesn't have to be, admit to anything, really, because that's what the deal with Nixon was, is it was a preemptive pardon. Yeah, exactly. It's a tacit treatment rather than an overt treatment, too, Rabbit. Ace, getting the popcorn. Getting the popcorn. Where are they getting these people to testify? I mean, it's a joke that it could become dangerous. Nobody's testifying. That's the thing. As far as Sidney Powell's document goes, she's attempting to keep her witnesses, secret from the court, which isn't a thing you can do. So, like I said, it will go nowhere as a result of that. And this isn't fucking TV. You don't get to present evidence before the Supreme Court that wasn't in discovery in the earlier cases that are being appealed. So, they've lost 26 cases so far, and they've lost their appeals, and there's doubt that the Supreme Court will hear any of them, even with the stacked deck that they have, due to the nature of what they're attempting to do within the legal structure. It is questionable whether they'll actually hear the case. Do you know the history of Philippe? The French Union taking down Unilever after 1,336 days of strike. No, I haven't heard that one before. And he burned all of them. Enjoy myself. He burned all of them. He took all of those accomplishments, all of that goodwill that he did, that he had built up, and he spent it. He spent it being a bootlicking supplicant for the likes of Donald Trump. How pathetic is that? Right? Yeah, he accomplished more than me in his first half. And in his second half, he became the bane of this country, potentially committed treason for Donald Trump. Of all pieces of shit. How fucking sad is that as a character arc? Really? He should have just sat the fuck down and shut up, and America would remember him as New York's, as America's mayor. But instead, he decided that he wanted $20,000 a day, and he wanted more power. So now, what we do is we make fun of his dumb old ass for having cheap ass spray in hair coloring because his ego is so pathetic that he has to fucking fill in his hair with some cheap as seen on TV product before he goes out and sweats like he's got a 15-year-old girl's hand down his pants. Womp womp. He's a joke. And he did it to himself. Two rabbits. That is true. Giuliani can't. He's not qualified to present before the Supreme Court. Hey, Ebel. It'd be easier if you just admit all fact checkers work for big facts and are secretly out to destroy America. I'd rather have Jim Carrey and Liar Liar than Rudy. These people don't care about facts. That is true. They don't. All they care about are their feelings, as evidenced by what's happened. The crew that is so infamous for saying facts don't care about your feelings do nothing but whine about how they feel, especially when confronted with facts. Well, glad you agree with William Barr and the DNI, Billy. Everybody except Trump and his cult members seem to agree to that, but hey. Oh, landscaping place, oil slick hairline, tiny desk, Kraken, Venezuela, all of it. Hilarious. It is. No, no one agrees with that, Ebel. Seeing as most of the states, like Nevada, we've been doing mass mail-in ballots for like 15 years. We have it down to a fucking science in this state. Yeah, they flipped on Barr like a fucking pole dancer, didn't they? He fucking, they loved him when he was working for them. The instant even Barr, general cover-up himself, the high master of fucking the Iran-Contras, the guy who got Reagan off, even he couldn't side with them. Even he couldn't swing that one. Because Barr understands, he goes way back. He understands which way the wind blows and to go with it. Trump's on his way out. He just is. So Barr, doing what Barr does, like, peace out, motherfucker. Yan yon. And all of a sudden now, he's a long-term Bush senior plant. He's a deep state operative sent in to undermine the God Emperor Trump. It's fucking hilarious. How quickly they just ate him up. We have tracking on them. We have everything. Ebel. Hey, SJ. Ebel, I can literally know when my ballot is sent to me. I know when it arrives. I know when it's back in the mail. I know when it's received, and I can verify using a barcode at the top of it whether it was registered correctly. It's not difficult to do. Yeah, Kodo. Hey, Peach. Let's see. Oh my god, my roommate is having the loudest wall-slamming birthday sex. Why do I not have beer tonight of all nights? Can I get some Fs going in chat? Oh my. F in chat for Peach's ears. Ebel, they don't exist. There are no testimonies and witnesses. Every fucking time that these fuckers take a case to court, they have no evidence. They have nothing that's admissible whatsoever. They have random online submissions. They have no actual sworn testimony. They have secret witnesses in the case of Powell, that she's got some master secret witness that is privy to all of this, but she won't reveal their identity to the court. They don't have anything. My favorite witness so far was the guy who was lost in a different state saying, "Take my name off this case." Every single time it gets before a judge, it ends up being dismissed, usually with prejudice, because it literally evaporates like fucking Giuliani's hair color. Just runs right down their face and evaporates. They've yet to win a case, Enjoy. They've yet to win a case. One single case. The closest they got was the Wisconsin one, which was already a regulation that was being changed, which allowed them to change the distance from, what was it, 10 to 8 or 10 to 5 feet that the witnesses were stationed at. That's it. They've lost 26 consecutive legal arguments, including appeals, multiple of which were dismissed with prejudice because they had nothing to demonstrate to the courts that there was any significant wrongdoing. Even the DOJ themselves, Barr, who was hand appointed by Trump. Trump picks the best people. Remember, he knows the best people. Even Barr was like, yeah, they got nothing. It's fun sometimes, RV. We'll see what happens. Yes, exactly. It's all part of the 8D chess that Trump was planning. And yeah, enjoy myself. Why don't you get on the air with me and have the conversation if you're so confident in your position? So I'm sure that'll happen. Ace, let me finish my popcorn first. Cool boys, mockery is fair game. Fair game. No, that invitation won't be extended next week. It won't. What's up, Curio? Just dealing with some Trump bootlicking chuds, that's all. No, we don't want Biden to be president, Ebel. We just don't want Trump to be president. right? One poll found that 64% of the voters that cast their vote for Biden didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Trump. All right? You have to understand that. It's 100% shit versus 95% shit. You take the 5% gain. You do the utilitarian political calculus, and you take it. But we've already been talking shit about Biden's incoming administration for weeks now. It's just when Trump chuds start talking the praises of Trump and how the election was stolen from Trump, we're going to talk shit about Trump, right? But if you want to talk shit about Biden, fuck, there's all sorts of shit to talk about Biden. Yeah, Hembolus. These trolls don't want Trump. They just want to get a rise out of you. That's fine. It's content for me. It feels so good to know that we can openly shit talk libs again. I know, Kat. Oh my god, it does feel good. Dude, I love the meme about how fucking we need more girl drones, trans woman drone operators and more girl drone operators and drone pilots. I love that meme. Fucking, it was the first thing I like, oh, Biden's appointed an all-female communications team. Oh, great. So when they announce we're bombing random brown children all around the globe, it'll be fucking a diverse staff to tell us about it. Oh, how brilliant. Michigan Republican Van Orden said in a statement, quote, I have no knowledge of being included, and to be clear, I have not been involved in the lawsuit seeking to overturn the election in Wisconsin. That's fair. Yeah, we don't like the centrist senile child sniffer, but we dislike the literal proto-fascist even more. Well said, premarital. Well said. Joe, Trump is such a horrendous failure that he even made it possible to get Joe fucking Biden elected. Who the fuck would have thought that would have ever happened? In regards to that, hats off. Right? Did I miss something? I missed something. Oh, I don't really understand socialism, and Mitre was explaining it just a little bit. You're adorable. Enjoy myself. You know who you're Jeff Bezos' pissant. You're Elon Musk's butt boy. Like, don't you get it? I love it. I adore it. Like, China is hyper-capitalistic at an economic level. How do you not understand that? I suck dick. I'm allowed. Enjoy myself. It's one of the benefits. So, no internalized homophobia here. I embrace my gayness. Free Hong Kong. That I can get behind. Oh, wait. Hang on. Let's do the every time.
Fuck the Chinese government. There.
Anyway. Yeah, it's called the sanitary line, allying with people you hate to stop fascism, which is something we did in World War II. We were like, hey, Hitler needs stopping. Soviets, you and us, we dance partners for this one? Sure. Round and round we go. AOC came out pretty hard against Obama, saying defund the police was bad. She stopped short of naming him, but was clearly in response to his interview. I mean, Obama's a mildly right-leaning centrist, Hembolus. So yeah, I mean, AOC is an actual leftist, not that far, not as far as people on the right claim her to be, but she's an actual leftist, and Obama is, you know, a centrist. And so yeah, of course she hit him hard. The greatest pwn lefties have in our quiver right now. They lost to Joe Smell My Hair Biden. They lost to Joe Biden. That's how bad Trump sucked. SJ, I suppose if you say you're a communist country, you must be right. Yes, much like the Democratic Republic of North Korea is a democratic republic. If you put it in the name, it's automatic. That's how it works. You know the rules. Ace. Premarital dances the tango with Stalin's reincarnated mustache. Hey, Brooke. Nice to see you. Yeah, Obama was a centrist that wanted to paint himself as an FDR, and he failed miserably at that. Curio, I am a communist nation. Obama wasn't the worst president. He was a shit president, but he wasn't the worst president. Where are you from, Ebel? Where are these takes coming from? I have become the state. Can I be the People's Democratic Republic of Rabbit? Yes, you can, Rabbit. I'm an ephemeral collection of social constructs you didn't consent to experiencing. Now that cat is a fucking take. Right? Like, okay, so literally you have no firsthand experience with living under a US president. All you have is foreign policy at best and media interpretation. We have direct back-to-back comparison of Trump to Obama. Trump is worse. Plain and simple. He's worse. Bush was worse than Obama too. We have two sandwiched presidents, like literally pieces of bread around Obama, of worse, that we can look at as people who have lived through it and experienced it and say, yeah, they were worse. I hate Harry Truman. He's a bitch. Oh, you mean the ones largely started by the Bush administration? Those ones that, admittedly, the Obama administration expanded. Those wars? The ones that the CIA lied us into during the Bush administration? Those wars? Yeah, I know, right, Kodo? At least he was a statesman and a halfway decent speaker. We're always, Jack, I mean, we're always itching to go to war. We've always got bombs and bullet money in this country. We're always looking to, you know, spread the imperialistic umbrella, as it were. How? How so? Make an actual statement of information. Who are these people in the music player? Oh, whatever. Yeah, Obama was cool and all, but that tan suit, though. You mean that well-tailored tan suit that made him look kind of pimpish? Like, he was baller in that suit. It's a well-made suit. Yeah, that tan suit? Yeah, I know, right? Fucking just a nightmare. He disrespected the office with that suit. Ninja. Anarchist is a bit of a wide pull. I will tell you, anarchism is a wide river with many streams and tributaries that contribute to it. But at its core, in my opinion, what you're looking at is a fundamental challenging, a collapsing down of hierarchical power structures into a heterarchy or horizontal organizational structures, and a philosophical challenging of power and authority mechanisms in society, and when they are unable to justify or validate themselves, a replacement or dismantling thereof. But as Emma Goldman once put, there is no perfect expression of anarchism because it isn't a single dogmatic philosophy. It's a network of ideas, and we much prefer it that way. So I hope that helps you out a little bit, Ninja. It's still better than the awful choices Trump. I've yet to see Trump wear a tailored suit. It's fucking insane. He perpetuated the wars in the Middle East that Bush started. No, he moved them. He shuffled them. Let's see. Ballers fuck. Who thought it was okay to elect him? Oh, Jesus. Legit Hexen. Brutal. Decent Hooper. Only thing I can say about Obama. Remember when they attacked Obama for golfing too much? Yeah, fucking hilarious. All right. And then Trump like outdid him like by 2.8 times or something like that. Plus he profited from his own golfing by going to his own golf clubs. Fucking ridiculous. Consider the two presidents after Obama and four guys before him. He was pretty tolerable centrist role playing as a progressive. I see that premarital. That's how I tolerable. No, but definitely a sort of right leaning centrist role playing as a progressive. Yeah, and especially when taken in context with everybody else. I agree with that sentiment. Ninja, there is a strong contingent of anarchistic philosophy and theory that runs throughout information technology, dating back to the early iterations of it. So if you find that there are statements that definitely, if you find that the lens of anarchism seems familiar to you from a technologist's point of view, then you would be correct in that interpretation. That there is, due to the very nature of how we look at decentralization and distribution of network resources and computing resources, and how we implement a whole series of high technologies, they actually coincide or correlate very easily to anarchistic principles, because a whole bunch of the founders and inventors and creators of technologies that we all use to this very day have anarchistic philosophies that they ascribe to. So it is part of it. Golfing is the most bourgeois individual sport I can think of. Ruins the environment around the golf course due to all the pesticides, creates a monoculture of the lawn, uses entirely too much water, wastes land and space that we could be using for other endeavors. Yeah, it's a complete waste of fucking time. Trump's golfing underwear shot is eternally burned into your brain. I'm sorry, Two Rabbit, but it's burned into mine as well. Bernie either. That man desperately needs a tailor. Fair enough. How about ANCOM? Curious if that's in my lane. Eventually it would be RV, but there's really no need to have an ANCOM discussion in any time soon, right? Unless you're talking like microcosmic commune or municipal level organizational structure, then we could talk ANCOM. But in a general sort of larger societal macrocosmic sense, ANCOM is a project for many years in the future. But if you're talking about setting it up as, a farming infrastructure or some sort of mutual aid network within your own local municipal area or online, then ANCOM is a viable talking point. And some people do. Oh, he's terrible at golf. He never fucking actually tries. He did the truffle shuffle with existing wars before his term. How dare he? The disrespect. He spent $100 million on golfing of tax dollars. Of course he did. And he made a good portion of that back for himself. Anyone still pissed about Benghazi should be mortified at Trump's response to COVID. Dude, the Benghazi thing's fucking ridiculous. 1 out of every 4 days at a golf course. Woo! Fucking doing that job. I won't have time to golf. I'll be too busy as president. Quote, Donald Trump. Candidate Trump. Personally, I'd rather donate to children with cancer. Oh, you mean like the slush fund charity that the Trump organization and Trump and his ne'er-do-well punk children were running? Children's cancer charity? That one? The one that got shut down and resulted in them being lifetime banned from running a charity in the state of New York? That charity? The guy's a crook, right? Let's just accept that. He's a narcissist, a pathological liar, and a grifter. Always has been. His entire life story is a grift. Oh, it's a small loan of $1 million, $440 million over multiple years. Came in from Fred Trump. He's a grifter. One out of six, something like 1 out of 6 at his own properties. Would you consider anyone who wants to keep capitalism not far left enough? I mean, long term probably, but it's all about baby steps, Hambless. Capitalism isn't going away in one day. It's not how things work. I'm an incrementalist. I stretch ideologies and philosophies over a temporal line. I understand that progress is made by a game of inches, and revolution tends to be bad for the people. Sometimes it's necessary, but it tends to be bad for the people. So if you can find an incrementalist approach for swapping out modular components of a system, something like democratic socialism along the way, or socialist democracy further along the way, then you can take steps towards ensuring a social safety net and a welfare system for the public as you regulate and attempt to dismantle the insane levels of inequality and inequity that are not only prevalent, but a feature of capitalism. He basically lives in this golf club. Oh. Wait, hang on. It would be true, Mitre, that the artisanal nature of a tailored suit would be, it's contrary to fast fashion. It's it's antithetical to the sort of large fashion industry. I mean, you don't have to go to Ralph Lauren or Gucci or Hugo Boss for that. You could literally find a tailor, just an individual tailor, and support a small business using that methodology. It's a good call, Mitre. Okay. So the reason you never hear Fox News actually define the term socialism, because they don't know. They don't know. They're arguing in bad faith. And if you ask these sorts of people to, what is socialism? It's essentially communism light, but don't tell them that. It's about worker self-management, a return of the means of production to the working class. It's about social ownership. It's about collective cooperative equity in society. There are both market and non-market solutions within socialism, so you can have the marketplace as well. So this is why you don't see them talk about it, because one, they don't know what it is. Socialism is a propaganda tool. It's a word. It's a buzzword that Americans have been propagandized into fearing. So they just spew it because all they're saying is be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. That's the point of saying socialism over and over on places like Fox News. But if you actually got into it, you'd be surprised, because what you're going to find is a whole host of ideals that many people would be amicable towards if they sat down and divorced the idea of these things away from the concept of socialism as they've been taught. Because all they're hearing is red scare, they want to take my pickup truck. That's all they've been taught about it. So there you go. Like I said, collective ownership, a return of the means of production to the workers, worker self-management. It's a series of social systems. All right, so let's see. Thank you, Peach. All golf courses combined are bigger than Delaware. Thank Jesus Christ. I don't have time to call in. I'm just going to hang around in chat, shifting goalposts and making hackneyed points. The entire fucking state of New York versus Donald Trump. Yep, he's collecting money from his hoax fraud grift. That is true. You know that money's getting pocketed. The shots are definitely not sending their best. Are we all human? I love your hyper reality. Is that postmodernism, Mitra? I think that's postmodernism. It's hyper reality. Either way, I love your reference to it. Jara, welcome to the Thunderdome. No, it's not like that today. Excuse me. Groomsmen, they're gonna make me gay and trans is another fallacy they have in their head. Oh yeah, we watched that Nick Fuentes video the other day of Fuentes saying the government's gonna capture him and turn him trans. These people are batshit insane. Cool boy. Where Benghazi is. I love that. Fucking nice little knife turn there. J. Christopher Stevens, our ambassador to Libya at the time, where Benghazi is, himself asked for security to be dialed down at the two government facilities there. Intel leading up to the attack had shown zero al-Qaeda presence in the region, which was found to be correct. Al-Qaeda had nothing to do with Benghazi, neither did Obama or Clinton. They listened to intelligence, the armed forces, and the ambassador there. Even at full security detail, it wouldn't have been stopped. The attack, anyway. No, conservatives, enjoy myself, perform the child behavior because conservatism finds its roots in Burkean philosophy, which is monarchism. Edmund Burke is universally recognized as the father of modern conservatism. And he was a monarchist. He was arguing against the French Revolution in favor of the stability of the status quo of the monarchy. Conservatism acts as the child to the daddy that is the big man, the strong man. This is why conservatives constantly love people like Trump who talk a big game. They like strongman leaders. This is at the very core and root of conservatism. There's not a political scientist on the fucking planet that would debate this. Modern conservatism finds its roots in Burkeanism, which is nothing more than monarchism. That's what conservatives are about. They need somebody to tell them what to do. They like it. They want it. They don't want to live a life of their own volition. They like the rules. They like hierarchies. They like little boxes that they can fit in so they know what to do just to go along to get along. This is just the sad truth of the matter. Hey, no worries, SJ. Get your edit on. Jara, couple of interesting hot takes from some special folk in chat. And as a result, criticism, dissection, analysis. Oh, and mockery sometimes, because we don't violate the NAP, so we use words as weapons. No, they don't, Ace. They really don't. Picture it didn't happen. Yeah, I'm with Kat. Fucking politics is a matter of life or death. Like, get out of that. Get out of with that lib shit. People die because of politics all the time. Whether it's a drone strike or a shitty healthcare system or a lack of funding for social services and schools that lead to poverty and cyclical criminality rates. Politics is a matter of life and death. It's not to be taken lightheartedly. It's not to be, at the end of the day, we're all just humans. We should all just get along. No. There are people out there that mean us harm. And they are violating actively the non-aggression principle. Shit matters. This shit really matters. Hey, Camel. Camel. Hey, good luck with that, Zealot. Ninja, I could get behind that. I really could. How long? It's not a ban, Curio. How long? Oh, I did 20 seconds. Sorry. There we go. Curio redeemed 10,000 channel points. Ninja. Fun fact: the analysis of yelling fire in a crowded theater was part of the Supreme Court decision that essentially led up to the Red Scare. A whole series of anarchistic direct actions took place in this nation, followed by the Palmer raids and a host of countersuits and what led up to the creation of the ACLU inevitably. But as a result of this, the Supreme Court case that restricted the freedom of speech of individuals to openly criticize and basically call for sedition in this country was that justification that you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That is the origin point of that rubric, is to suppress criticism of the United States government amid the Red Scare. Fun fact. Be right back. All right. Let me catch up. Oh, RV, fucking liberalism. Liberalism is seriously insidious. At least the version, neoliberalism is. Liberalism, classical liberalism is a good thing. Oh yeah, the dialogue trees. You are right. Oh, I'm sure the freeze peach will be the fucking talking point. I'd be more impressed if the dialogue trees weren't from a text based out of 1986. So many stupid things came out of that era. McCarthy, Dulles, all this foreign negation. Don't forget McCarran. As somebody who lives in Las Vegas, we have McCarran Airport. That's who our airport is named after, is fucking McCarran. Doesn't get name checked enough. But yeah, I'm with you, Camel, on that one. LaGuardia. Yeah, it's a whole host of fucking assholes that came out of that. I've just started the research phase of a McCarthy. I want to do, I'm going to do a 3-part series. Yeah, ooh, McCarran, that fucker. On mutual aid networks, OPSEC, and McCarthyism. I don't know what order I'm going to put them in. But yeah, I've started the research for the McCarthyism one. And yeah, that's fun times, fun times. Those Palmer raids were a motherfucker. All right, Joe. Sleep well. Have a good one. Yeah, thus the famous phrase, only Nixon could go to China. Ninja, That's the fucking hilarity of it. Sadly, the boomers have been programmed by the evil communist threat that they can't they can't reason clearly. That's the hilarity of it, right? That shit flipped on its head the instant Trump came in, right? Like, Putin good, Russia good. Their entire life, they've been screaming about the Red Scare and how Russia and the communists and the Soviets are out to get them. And all of a sudden, they're like vocally supporting an ex-KGB dude who is a dictatorial authoritarian, the likes of which that region is eminently familiar with. And they fucking all talk shit about, they've all got man crushes on him and shit. It is hilarious. Like, my stepfather's one of those idiots that fucking, he will literally say, like, oh, I'd love to go fishing or hunting with Vladimir Putin. Really? Really? You want to hang out with a dictator? This is your idea of a good time? You fucking bootlicking supplicant. Someone told me I'm not a true leftist because I like reading and researching about monarchs, especially Sapphic or is it either way, yeah, Sappho, Sapphic, queerness in women monarchs, and enjoy going to Renaissance fairs. Yeah, I mean, just tell them don't know true Scotsman me, simp, and go forward from there. I don't know about the Palmer raids. That's another thing I should know. Largest at that point, Camel, the Palmer raids were the largest mass arrests ever conducted in the history of the United States. Thousands rounded up because of their political ideologies, because they dared say that, hey, maybe some of these industrialists and these robber barons aren't good for this nation. Yeah, it was a hell of a time to be alive. When they rounded them up, if they were immigrants, here perfectly legally, if they were immigrants, they deported them. Only citizens of the U.S. were allowed to stay after they fucked with them in the prisons for a while. But yeah, as I said, thousands and thousands of people rounded up all across this country. And if they were immigrants, they just put them on a boat and shipped them off. The Palmer raids are an interesting thing to look into. Right now I'm into Gavrilo Prince, the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. Want to do his background, that was Serbia. Okay, cool. Centrist, classic fucking enlightened centrist shit. You know, it'd be who would be great for the dictator to hang out with? Dick Cheney. Yeah, Kaiser, new emote. Sure, but imagine being Putin in East Germany as the wall comes down, waiting for the orders from Moscow and nothing coming. What sort of mental effect that has on your faith? Yeah, fuck Putin. He's done enough. He's harmed enough people that I don't fuck him. Devil, word is there's some people who love capitalism in this chat. Well, if they're still here, they're timed out for 20 minutes, Devil. Because Curio redeemed 10,000 points to slow their roll, as it were. Capitalism loves me. Yes, it do. Capitalism loves me. Can't afford shoes. Fair enough. Okay, so you're making an end run on understanding pan-nationalism. All right. Yeah, it wasn't his opinion that got him that. Kirio is saying he just did it because he was an annoying bitch to Kirio. Because it's not. P-wit P. It may have at one time been a necessary stage of evolution within our economic systems, but much like feudalism, its time will come, and the next thing will come. That's it. It's exploitative. It's inherently domineering. It's inherently oppressive. It's inherently exploitative. It utilizes the baser instincts of humanity to oppress. It uses greed and pride and hate and fear to motivate, to drive itself. It fuels itself on an idea of infinite growth within a finite system. It's a problem. And even as far back as Marx and before, people could see what end stage, late stage capitalism would be. The MLK quote, love it. And oh, externalities. Yeah, you missed an R there, Ninja. But costs incurred by someone who isn't the producer of a product. Generally, is that my? I think I'm on point with that definition, Ninja. Yeah, Grimsman. True freedom is what we want. I want us to sit down. P. I want us to sit down as a people and have the conversation about what comes next, because capitalism is hurting us. The returns, the cost-benefit benefit analysis is beginning to look like it's inverted. It's hurting more people than it's helping. We export the costs of our gains to those that can't afford those costs. We have for years. All right. This is gonna get weird. It always does. Wait. Is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's bot commands. Sorry. Just making sure somebody doesn't fucking. Hello, Anarchy. When was this account created? Okay, cool. Hello, Anarcho-Commune. Give me 1 sec, but you are on the air. Know that, Zero.
Hello?
Yeah, I said give me 1 sec, but you are on the air, so know that. So,
I'm not the kind of person who say random things. Like, I'll say stupid things, but I'll probably mean them usually.
Oh, we talking pan-nationalism still. Yeah, I forget who asked. Was that Camel that talked about?
Pan-nationalism.
Pan-nationalism is this weird, it's kind of this odd concept of like a macro-nationalism. So if you can imagine like, imagine like an ethnic group or even a nationalist. So Pan-Africanism, right? This is an easy way to like wrap your head around it. That you've got this sort of like, you've got these nation states and they start advocating for something greater than them, but still sort of a state nonetheless. It's still nationalistic.
So like, does that mean greater than them? Like, you don't mean like an empire?
I mean,
confederation?
Yes. I mean, in all, basically, yeah, that's where you end up. It's fucking weird.
It's a nationalist confederation. Like, what?
It's a very, like, the reason, Camel, the reason you like the reason your head kind of broke when you read the definition is because it's a very odd concept. It emerged out of like 19th century European nationalism. And so you have this sort of like the European Union sort of grows out of, not directly, but you could see it as an offshoot, a tangential offshoot of pan-nationalism. It's weird. It's weird. So good luck learning about it, Camel. It's attempting to have your cake and eat it too in a very real way when it comes to definitions and words. That you're like, oh, nationalism,
Honestly,
but more than. Like, you're using an exclusionary term, such as... Go ahead.
I have a very complex relationship of definitions. Like I constantly toe the line between socialism and capitalism, and I fall over on one side all the time. And definitions I feel like are really weird because like I feel as though there are cases where where they're two opposing things that you don't fit into either of, and then there are other cases where just definitions are really stupid, like of gender.
Two rabbit Balkan.
I'm not saying political definitions are like gender. I'm not getting into that. I'm not saying that.
Cat.
They're not similar.
I love Cat's definition. Basically, an ethnic group or race just decides to band together to fight somebody, and a lot of the time it relies on essentialist justifications. Love it.
Love it too.
Ninja, yeah, let's sit down and have a grown-up conversation about what type of society we want it to have. I know, and that's the sort of channel I run here, and that's what I try and do most days is, what do people want to see and that sort of thing. But, yes, Cool Boy, I do in fact know the origins of to pull oneself up by their bootstraps used to be used as an idiom to demonstrate something that was impossible to do, not something that should be done. But
that's funny.
Somewhere along the way, some moron got it confused, and now people are like, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Yeah, that's impossible, you dickhead.
Yeah.
Good to see a common enemy between socialists. All right, what's on your mind, Zero?
Okay, so recently I was saying this like an hour ago. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to come back at the right time. I had French things to work on. College is fun, especially when you're doing a job that like go back, like I'm doing like special care counselor type stuff, so I'm kind of like helping people with like making plans to make their lives better and stuff like that with some psychological angles to it. So like that job has too many French people and not enough English people, and yet I have to learn a bunch of French anyway. Like, just let me be the one anglophone in the French province, but that's not what I'm here for. I get off topic really quick. This, guy, he's a streamer, I forgot his name, and I'm not going to link you to him because I don't exactly want people to view him. So he's this guy who is sort of egoist type libertarian right, and very much against trans people for no real good reason. He finds himself as an objectivist. So I talk to him, and I'm trying to be very kind and stuff, and he goes on and on and on about his ideas of how essentially anything that cannot be proven should not be like real. And I'm saying, I'll prove that he exists. Prove that gender is a real thing. That it wasn't just fucking spread. Like, prove that two genders is more objective than any gender. He does not make it objective, and he literally said that, and I tried to use it against him. So, like, it was already shown that egoist who believes in gender is really fucking weird, and also an objectivist who like you'll see. So I hear all these things. It's almost like verbal tics, except it's not when he keeps on saying things like I don't know, I don't remember exactly. Just like he kept on saying things like the point to my point, or just I don't know what it was, but it was very repetitive. His way of thinking. Every single thing he told me, he just repeat what I was saying after I responded, and halfway through, I'm like, this is getting annoying. Like you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're simply interrupting me, saying I don't understand what you're saying, and that's true, Tail. Like, objectivists are really just people who believe that he believed that he was above reason. He believed, I said that everyone has biases, and he's like, I don't. I'm like, please. It's so tiring when people believe they're above bias. But so then there's the good part of this though. He finally gets into like why he's sort of anti-trans. He's like, well, if someone gets along with me really well and I really like them, I'll use their preferred pronouns. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So you're strong enough in your beliefs to be a dick most of the time, but you're not strong enough in your beliefs to not make exceptions for your friends.
I mean, objectivism is a Randian philosophy, which is largely discounted by basically everybody with sense in their head. And so a result of that is
Randian.
Ayn Rand. It's literally objectivism was developed by Ayn Rand.
I had a hard time like convincing him of anything because he literally, whenever I said something like "be a good person," he just said altruism is bad. I'm like, fuck, selfishness is good. I'm like, how has selfishness benefited society? How?
It basically, I mean,
this country was not made better by the selfish.
This is sort of the tainting of American libertarianism and American liberalism by this brand and strain of thought that there is an objective reality that through inductive logic you can come to know using your clearly biased senses. And as a result of that there is a clear and perfect definition that can be acquired, and that the individual rights and laissez-faire capitalism should be held upon high. It's a weird fucking crew to have a talk with.
Beyond like the actual, like, if there wasn't, if I love this music, by the way, but if Ayn Rand didn't like exist, then I'd probably call myself an objectivist, like without like all the horrible like things coming from it, because I do believe in objective reality. I believe it exists. I believe that it's very difficult for it to receive, but I do believe that as a goal we should try and figure out objective reality, because I feel as though biases are a bad thing for the most part, and that if we can't get rid of them, we need to acknowledge them. Sort of where I go. Not full on postmodern, but I do use postmodern rhetoric in like what I'm talking about, and there are aspects of it I really do agree with. Although, so I wouldn't say I'm the same. I don't believe that objective reality is like it's not necessarily something to strive to. It's something that can be used to try and avoid the subjectivism that often permeates bias and all that. But I don't believe you can get rid of bias. Like the idea that someone is above bias or above manipulation is really, really just it's so grade school.
Well, I mean,
again, I'm going to go on.
Cat is correct. I mean, because it is it's rational egoism, I believe is how it's categorized. And Cat pointing out that egoism presupposes that altruism is selfishness, to fulfill those good-natured urges is to please your ego and thus be selfish. And this is, I mean, that is very much a true supposition.
The consequences don't matter.
So, I mean, I would have a conversation with somebody like that, but it would be taxing. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I like that Rand was all about selfishness until her boyfriend went back with his wife. She fucking died on Social Security and welfare.
I feel as though we often like talk about the most hated man on earth, like was it Hitler, Stalin, like the Christopher Columbus, all that shit. I'm like, who's the worst woman? I can't decide. Is it Margaret Thatcher or Ayn Rand?
Oh, it's Thatcher, 100%. All day, every day of the week, it's Thatcher.
Thatcher and one of the worst things I think about Thatcher is the fucking apartheid thing. Like, it wasn't even beneficial at all to England. It would ruin their reputation if she continued to stay pro-apartheid.
Apartheid, fucking funding militants in Northern Ireland, the dismantling of the working class in her own nation. Cat Rand was just a dumb memer, fucking, and then Thatcher.
The fact is, doesn't matter if Rand was a dumb memer. She's a dumb memer that changed the fucking world and
Oh,
made Librite basically
trust me,
exist.
Thatcher is still. We still get him to this day on this channel. Fucking occasionally, somebody will come in from that part of the world and they'll fucking. Thatcher did great things. She left her mark. Trust me.
Yeah, like I think honestly, Thatcher makes Queen Elizabeth II look good, and I'm an anti-monarchist, obvious for very clear reasons. Like, although in Canada, I feel as though constitutional monarchy isn't doing much damage. The main damage it does is the amount of taxes put towards it. Nowadays, at least. She made the Queen look good because the Queen was like wasn't especially well liked at that time. But anyway,
Hello.
Anyway, back on point. Like the
Hello,
really interesting
Doc.
thing that I wanted to actually talk about here is welcome, Doctor. I don't know. Dr. Social is a little great. For all your woes. Anyway, so this music like what happened was that he okay, can you turn down the music a little bit? Sorry. Thinking it's ADHD. So the human race could unite to collectively spit on her grave.
Don't look at chat.
Okay.
Focus.
Okay. I love my ADHD brain. So he actually had like this trans friend that he had for like several decades apparently, and I don't know how much of his story was true about it because well he's freaking biased and he doesn't want to admit it, which makes his bias so much worse. But so he talks about how like he and his friend was like a guy who turned to a girl, and essentially like they were really good friends. They were very vitriolic and all that. So and I'm not sure how much of that was true. I'm like maybe she didn't actually like you being super casually anti-trans in front of them because like that tends to trigger dysphoria and shit.
Me
What
Trey.
the fuck? Me Trey.
Me Trey. I haven't seen a
I thought you
pic.
were laughing at
I
what
haven't
I
seen
said,
it.
not what he said. I didn't
No,
realize.
I haven't seen a picture of Zero, but I can just imagine it.
What are you imagining?
You and Doc jelly wrestling.
What do you imagine me to look like, though? Is what I can't continue the story until I know. I gotta know. I want to know.
Definitely Twinkie.
God damn. I'm actually surprisingly chunky.
Oh well, then you'd fucking be able to take Doc like easily. Then you'd be tossing him around. He's like fucking.
Way.
He's
I'm
like Curio
20.
and me. He's at that age. He's probably 90 pounds soaking wet.
Sorry, he's under.
He's 18.
What?
Eight.
Okay. Just don't wanna get that FBI. Yeah, I weigh 220 pounds and I'm like 6'2", so not particularly muscly, but like just by sheer weight.
Wait, how much do you weigh?
220 to 230 depends on like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 225.
You are not 6'4", Doc. We've seen pictures of you, for fuck's sake.
I've said it too.
Um,
Yeah, dude, she's taller. It just means I could probably just punch you down with a freaking.
yes, I want to see a
gust of wind.
picture, a close-up of you next to a ruler or a tape measure, Doc.
Yeah. I'm not taking no pictures. I very rarely am on cam. And last time I was on cam on a stream, I literally wore a freaking like White Walker mask from Game of Thrones.
Surprisingly chunky, definitely found on Trump's medical chart.
I don't think Trump's surprisingly chunky. I think I'm surprisingly chunky. Like with a shirt on, I don't look chunky, but I'm pretty chunky. It is particularly chunky. It narrows the line to obese, so it is chunky. Trey, no, you can't. You're not gonna extort me for pictures. This is fucking sexual extortion. Jesus.
MMA.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the topic, and we're gonna not okay Yeah, Dr. Socialism, I just little tiny push of my pinky and you fall to the ground. Twig. Not even twink, twig. Okay, so back to the subject at hand, even though that was very, very fun. Oh my god. So essentially, like, he told some somewhat not safe for work stories about like her like between her tits and her dick and all that to, and I'm like, so you realize that people actually do hormonal therapy, and but you don't see validity to it. I don't get the idea of like he's only willing to give people to use people's proper pronouns if he respects them and knows them. So then he mentioned the story about how he got banned from Twitter after testing Twitter, and we all know that cognitive bias, like if you try and get banned from Twitter and you get banned from Twitter, you're gonna hate Twitter. How, especially when you don't think you're biased, you become so much more biased. So essentially he talks about that, and then he talks about another time like how after he'd done a bunch of like I asked him to mention like what he did that got him banned from Twitter the second time. You know what he says? I can't say it on Twitch. I'm like, okay. And he's like, but it didn't offend her. It didn't offend her at all. And at this point, he's starting to use him to describe her. So that got real weird. So essentially posted a bunch of horrible stuff that cannot be. Oh god.
Focus.
How did someone else
Focus.
in the meat tray just say
No,
that?
no. Focus. It's from another stream. Don't worry about it. It's a callback to a whole other thing.
All right. Meat tray is a callback?
Yeah. No. It's a callback, meaning a reference to something else.
I'll find out eventually. Anyway, so he mentions this in how he got banned from Twitter the first time, and that confirmed like how he thought that confirmed to him how Twitter was so against. And I'm like, so, but you do realize like, what was it? You do realize like political correctness on the internet is like capitalism. He's like, yeah, I respect him for it, but it was proof that it was biased. I'm like, so what are you getting from that? So then he mentions how after like months and months of him like joking with like his friend, that at one point her employees, like she was running like a cam type thing, like I'm not going to get into that because TOS, but her friends are he kept on saying her employees to try and make it sound like they weren't friends, but they were very clearly like her friends. So they told her that it was really offensive and that it wouldn't help their image, and those are just what he's saying. I don't know what the real situation is. And so she just distances herself from him and blocks him. I'm like, I'm surprised that you had a trans friend for that long. What I'm thinking. I don't say it. I'm not that much of an asshole. Well, it's not really an asshole. I'm not that righteous when I'm trying to convince people. So I keep on going on so here's the objectivism in treating certain people, in accepting certain people's way, like the way that they identify themselves, and not others.
Because it has to do with egoism for in the primacy slot. Basically, what it has to do with is his individual rights and his freedom of speech. And if he so chooses to be an asshole first, and then grant you the privilege of using your chosen pronouns, that is up to him to do so.
I'm glad. I'm happy to speak with Doc. The way chat.
All right, so
this is the point where it gets like really worrisome. Doc coming in. Ooh la la.
Cat, I'm tempted.
Why is chat shipping me and Doc? Why is chat?
I'm
like,
tempted.
Can you please tell me why they're shipping us? Hi, dude. Tell me why I'm being shipped and then let him in.
Yeah, fucking your goddamn Cyrillic shit. Oh, it's the that thing. Fuck it.
Like,
God help me.
What's up,
oh,
losers?
come on, I understand humor,
What's up?
dick. Hey,
What's
Dr.
going on?
Socialism.
What's going on here?
Oh, fucking look at this affectation you've put on.
Huh? What was that?
I said, look at this
I think he likes
affectation
your
you
profile
put on.
There's
Put on
no accent.
yeah, putting on your straight voice for the
Is
crowd.
it for me?
Yeah, I'm putting on my straight voice for the crowd. I want everyone to think I'm a heterosexual male with Russian backgrounds.
Mitre,
Mitre, you are officially
this is you.
no, just I understand humor. I just don't understand your humor because your humor is shit.
All right, so
I'm referring that
the
to whoever thinks that that I don't understand humor.
the conversation is about objectivism vis-a-vis the Randian philosophy of rational egoism and individualism and laissez-faire capitalism, via a conversation that Zero had with another streamer, who was exhibiting a whole host of transphobia and general just dickheaded attitude that I'll use your pronouns if I like you, but if I don't, fuck you, sort of situation.
I mean, it is their stream, to say the least. I mean, I'm not like trying to defend them or anything, but at the same time, it is at the end of the day their stream, and I mean, if you don't like the way that they run things, you're more than welcome to leave.
It wasn't. The thing is, he didn't kick me out. I left. So he wanted to talk to me. He acted like it wasn't a debate, even though he acted like it was a debate the whole time. Like afterwards, I stayed in the stream after just for a few minutes just to figure out, talk from it, and he didn't take anything from it except he's just like like the guy who seriously when he was done talking about how that person had betrayed him, he's like, oh wait, I'm forgetting. I have to call them a he now. I'm like, what the fuck? You're putting conscious effort into misgendering someone?
I mean,
I thought that people misgendered people because it was easy, not because it was hard.
I misgender people all the time, but it's not because I mean to. It's just because I don't care.
That's great. That's great. That's great.
Gender nihilism.
I'm not going to debate you. Are you Dr. Nihilism, not Dr. Socialism?
Who's nihilism?
Well,
Who's that?
I mean, that's definitely it is a position that I know Kat and I both have espoused before, that is essentially gender nihilism. That at the end of the day, if it truly doesn't matter, if we're talking about equality and an end state goal, then it is sort of a nihilistic territory that ultimately it doesn't really matter. You're just another human being, and we should treat you as such.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Kat knows that I'm a full SJW and that I'm just holding it in.
Dr.
Kat has encouraged me. I'm gonna have to do this now. So, here's the thing about nihilism. It doesn't mean that you get to be a piece of shit. Because you see, even if the world doesn't matter, even if there is no actual fucking consequence to things, is that your actions still have consequences within this life. There ain't much else than this life. So just fucking gender people properly, for the fuck's sake.
I don't think. I mean, listen. I think it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, obviously, it's gonna hurt the person's feelings for 30 seconds.
Either that or you're not thinking much.
See, this is
I'm
the argument. In the
maybe
short term, it
coming from
matters.
my
In the
perspective,
long term, it may not, because in the short term, it matters to that person, and to treat someone as
you're
an
right, and that's what I'm
equal.
they're gonna care 5 minutes or less. They're gonna argue about it, debate with somebody about it, waste their time. It's not gonna change anything.
Well,
I mean, I'm just saying. I don't.
The butch is slipping.
Fucking post-leftist, aren't you?
Oh, he's still too young to know what he is. So are you.
You're Dr. Socialism.
Both of you.
Either of us? Please. I don't know what I am, but I'm fine with changing what I am.
Radically, you're
He's
one
already
of
gone to
the-
fucking post-leftist territory.
What was that, Eli?
You're like 27. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm almost 40.
Are you serious?
It's true.
You're an old little bastard. I love
Mhm.
that. I love to see it.
Old enough to know.
Okay, I feel like the gayness is more. I feel like there's more chemistry between Kai and Doctor than me. So I feel like you guys are shipping it wrong. I don't.
No, I just.
That's not how
don't-
fan
I
fiction
don't really
works.
know- I don't really know you, and I also don't really understand anything you're saying. So I'm just choosing not to have chemistry with you. That's all.
Ninja, Yeah,
Voice literally makes
I'm
your
with
voice
that.
literally sounds transphobic.
Let's just start
That's
with
not
affording
trans-
people respect.
What?
I'm with that, Ninja. 27, such a wee little baby.
I treat you-
It's the truth.
Socialism. It's like the fact is that when you misgender people, you are giving power to the anti-trans movement because regardless of why you're doing something, regardless of why you don't vote, regardless of why you vote Trump instead of, regardless of why you vote Biden instead of Trump, the fact is that your action is what matters, not the intention in terms of consequences. And if you're going to be a dick to trans people for the reason that eventually it won't matter, the fact is you're making it less likely that it won't have to matter later on.
I just don't think it matters. Period. Like I think you guys, and I'm just for trans community in general. I think you guys take things way too seriously on that matter. I think you guys are kind of like snowflakey in the bit. I mean, like think about this, right? Gay people used to get offended when people called them faggots. I get called a faggot all the time, and look at me. I don't take it personal. I don't give a shit. Call me a faggot. Congratulations, you learned
I'm
vocabulary.
not going to call you a faggot, but I'm going to call you a fucking
no.
asshole.
Well, okay, and congratulations. That's good for you. You have the right to think that. I'm not going to stop you from thinking that, am I? No, because I don't care. It's none of my business. And who cares? Listen, if somebody's
They
gonna
care, you fuck.
oh my god, can you shut up when I'm talking, please? I'm begging you. I hate it
care.
when people interrupt me.
This is on you,
my-
Mitre.
I think this is the biggest thing is that you guys take things so seriously and so personally, thinking that oh my god, this is gonna this one guy misgendering me is going to destroy me for years and years to come. You're gonna forget about it in like 2 hours anyway. Like, why care about it? Why put so much effort into it?
Able to make polls? Are you able to make polls, Kai?
Of course.
I'm gonna DM you on Discord what I think you should make as a poll if you don't mind. Is that okay? It's a good one. It's real good. Okay.
Well, it's gonna be public anyway. Just tell me.
Okay. No, I want Dr. Socialism to see it.
This is boring.
Okay.
I'm bored.
I am too.
Yeah, you know.
Just dude, why the fuck do you have to be like that though?
It's-
Like, why do you have
it's
What do
to?
you
been-
mean? Why do I?
Fucking
It's been fun. Both of you enjoy each other in the voice chat. They've been relegated to the voice chat to play by themselves off air. They can have fun. That was boring to me. Be nice to individuals. Understand that there's an end goal beyond the identity politics, but try not to be a dick to each other. If it matters to somebody, make it matter to you. If it doesn't matter, then don't worry about it. If you're gonna be a dick, at least be hard. I can get behind that, or in front of it. Well, SJ, I think you may actually. But yeah, I mean that's why it matters, right? Like here's the big picture, right? You should disempower the language. You should take the power away from those that would use these words to inflict emotional harm, right? You should disempower this language, thus making it a non-issue. But in the interim, in that gap, there should be a little bit of respect. There should be care towards that. Oh, we already know that. Ms. or Mac, welcome back, by the way. Sorry you walked in on that clusterfuck. The image I have of anarchy is Mad Max. Bandits running wild, no order in people, just trying to survive, not thrive. Therefore, I'm confused as to how people are attracted to anarchy. What does their utopian world look like? All right, so we got like a multitude of things to talk about, Mr. Mac. One, your image of your image of anarchism is wrong. I don't mean that to criticize you as a human being. It's just then you've been propagandized. You've been mistaught intentionally. So, yes, Grims, chaos is not anarchy. Anarchy isn't without organization. It isn't without rules. It isn't without society. It isn't without structures. It has order. It's just as anarchy is order. So that vision that you have of anarchism is wrong. Now that we've rectified that, let's remove that. Anarchism isn't Mad Max, right? That's not what that is. Anarchism is a network of ideas, not a single perfect dogma, a single dogmatic philosophy, right? It is this cluster of intersecting philosophies and ideologies. It's a network of ideas. It's not an end state goal, as you expressed your utopian world. There is no utopian anarchistic world. That's not what anarchism is about. So there is no singular expression of it. Now, what is it about? At its core, in my opinion, after looking into this for quite a few years, shall we say, the way I express it is that anarchism is a wide river with many streams and tributaries, but it's a collapsing down of hierarchical power structures into a heterarchy, a horizontal organizational structure, and a philosophical challenging of power and authority mechanisms wherever they may lie. Now, if they justify themselves, they may remain within the society. If they do not, then they should be dismantled or replaced with alternatives. This is what anarchism is about, right? Anarchy literally means, from its Greek, an without, archos, ruler. It's about removing that ruling class, be they capitalist feudal lords, be they politicians who have been in the Senate for 40 years, be they your boss or the owner of the company. These are all rulers. It's about a removal of them and replacement of them, right? All right. So, Mr. Mac, I hope that catches you up. We can go there, or we can go forward from there. I'm going to kill that one. You've been Jedi mind tricked. Anarchy is actually incredibly boring. Trust me, go to an anarchist meeting sometime. Dude, it's all committee meetings. It's all organizational meetings. It's all trying to get consensus. It is two rabbits speaking from fucking truth there. Everybody has this image of like direct action black bloc stuff. And when in fact it's mostly organizing committee meetings. Libertarian socialism, drop the socialism. And if you use libertarianism, Mr. Mac, in its classical sense, once upon a time, anarchism predates libertarianism. You have to understand, anarchism runs into and out of the Enlightenment era. Libertarianism runs out of the Enlightenment era. It's born of it. But once upon a time, outside the U.S., in a day long gone, when you said libertarian, you could mean anarchist. They could mean the same thing. Now, Does that carry through to today? No, it does not. And does a neo-libertarian or an American libertarian mean that? No, it does not. But there are still parts of this world where you can use those terms interchangeably. But you're not going to find the support for laissez-faire capitalism that you find in modern libertarianism. You're not going to find the solipsism that you find in modern-day libertarianism, or the, egoism, or the, there's a whole host of ideologies and philosophies that are in modern-day libertarianism that slide it over to basically the right of the spectrum, and up somewhat, that anarchists of today will disavow and disagree with vehemently in most instances. But yeah. Ace, I feel like I almost have multiple proudly radical speeches memorized. Good. That means you can use them, Ace. When somebody says something like, it's anarchy out there, I want you out there correcting them. I want you to fucking just rote verbatim, just turn around and just sort of like impulsively say my shtick. Like, I'm giving you these tools to defend anarchism when you encounter these people in the real world. So, yes, if you've heard it enough times to be able to recite it, Ace, fucking recite it. I'm down. Take it and spread it. Oh, I'm glad it is helpful, RV. Oh, you put that in twice. Anarchy is very tedious. It is. Hand to God, I was part of the consensus group who spent 3 months just deciding what the group's name would be. That's bad organizational structure. If you guys really did spend 3 months, I've been in those too, Rabbit. I've been there. I know your pain. I feel it. But there needs to be somebody in the group that just sort of throws down the gauntlet and says, none of this matters. We need to move forward. And yeah, I've been there though. I've been there. I understand. Libertarian socialist Prius with a gun rack. No, most of them wouldn't approve of the Prius cake. It's too damaging to the environment and its upfront cost. Yeah. Yeah, proudly ASMR. Because you've been purposefully miseducated and propagandized, Doc. The reason you think of that when you think of anarchism is because the United States government has spent a concerted, 100, 20, 60, 20, 40, about 150 odd years, literally using it, literally all the way back to prior to Wilson, but Wilson actually had a pamphlet in which they distributed and they conflated socialists, communists, and anarchists with violent domestic terrorists. The United States government has spent the better part of 150 years conflating anarchism with what you envision. So you were purposefully propagandized. The same way many Americans think the way they do about the blacks, the Middle East, Jews. It's in those veins of it is part of the societal systemic oppression. Anarchists are directly opposed to systems of oppression. If you run a system of oppression, it behooves you to demonize anarchists. We're the ones who will always be there. We were always there labor movement, civil rights movement, women's suffrage movement, LGBT, doesn't matter. When the buck stopped and society said, hey, we've had enough of this bullshit, and we're, this group is sick of it, who do you think showed up first? It's the in-group that has the problem, and then quickly it's anarchist. We're always there. Always have been. So that's why we're a valuable ally. We tend to know how to organize. We tend to know how to be community organizers and activists. We're familiar with the concept of direct action. We're familiar with the concepts of mutual aid and solidarity and unionization. We're familiar with, how to engage in political arenas. So, yeah, it behooves you, if you're running one of these systems, to demonize actively anarchists. And it's been that way, as I said, for about a century and a half in this country. Cake, love the share a comment. Exactly, Two Rabbits. After a few decades, you learn to be honest about how uninspiring and undramatic the process can be. Once you learn, it's organizational structure shit. Anybody who's been through a corporate meeting knows what it's like. I got you. Good, Ace. Good. Yeah, that Rothschild-backed bank, Pastique? Not to get too conspiratorial on you. Yeah, I saw that. I like that. When did the word values become a dirty word? When the moral majority in the U.S. tried to claim ownership over it, Ninja. When the fucking Christian evangelical and the Republican right tried to lay claim on values, that's when it became a dirty word, basically. It became synonymous with bombing abortion clinics and shooting reproductive rights doctors and fucking, yeah. The gauntlet thrower would be me. I finally said something like, I'm calling the group Cupcake and you're fine with it now. Can we talk about how we have no money? Thank you, Two Rabbits. That's, yeah. Wilson was such a cock block. Would he like Thatcher? I don't think Thatcher would like him, but I don't know. I'd have to line up some of their policies and positions. Yeah, Jennings Bryan was like, you're going to do what? Resigns. Some believe equality is oppression when they're accustomed to privilege. Equality and equity, access to equal and equitable resources and opportunities in society that allow you to thrive, not just survive. This is what I'm after. No, of course not. Is the United States genuinely like a free country? No, not by a long shot. We're an oppressive police state. We're an oligarchy, and a technocratic one at that. Do you subscribe to a theory of a zero-sum game as a premise of how the world works? No, I do not, Ninja. Life is not a zero-sum game. It just isn't. I think the Industrial Revolution and the information revolution has proven that we can build a world that isn't a zero-sum game, and that it's only through hyper individualistic greed that allows people that delusion. No, I don't believe the world is a zero-sum game. There's plenty to go around. Let's see. Hey, cool boy. Well, I'm glad you missed a whole bunch of stuff, quite frankly. Dark Matter 2525 has a good video on YouTube about the theft of leftist values over modern history. Let me try and find that, actually. We're not going to watch it on stream, but I want to... Do you happen to know what the video was called, Grims? Because Dark Matter's naming structure is... not great for that sort of thing. FDR, Theodore Roosevelt, FDR, but with a giant asterisk because of the racial concessions he made to the Dixiecrats that led to a whole host of problems with the inner cities. Had he gotten the New Deal the way it was intended to be without having to make those racial concessions to the Southerners, the Dixiecrats, then I could say FDR without an asterisk. But FDR with an asterisk otherwise. Pestique, yeah, most strike or movements are actually using anarchist recipe to organize, at least in the beginning, because most of the time, the more respectful of the diversity inside it is most of the time the more respectful of the diversity inside the movement. I can give examples. Yeah, not the land of the free. Duly noted, RV. Heard, digested, understood. The evangelical movement poster boy is the unshameful face of Jim Baker. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Whoops, I accidentally clicked that on the account that was created 9 minutes ago, asking me if anarchy means they can kill brown people if they look at them funny. Yes. Oh, oops. Accidentally clicked the ban button on that account. Ugh. Too Rabbit, he's too young to know anything about the queer rights movement. Without a concerted education on it, too young. Hasn't lived through it. And quite frankly, the world that he's grown up in has been far more accepting than what you and I and our predecessors grew up in as well. Yeah. Yeah, like he's grown up in the like post Will and Grace world. Whereas you and I, we saw some shit. And our forefathers saw some real shit. So, yeah. 38, Camel. Cool. There's the link. Thank you. Thank you for that, Grims. The theft of our values. Rock on. For every good thing that exists, there's someone willing to give their religion the credit. For every bad thing, well, different story. Love the opening. Cool. I'll give that a watch. Thanks for that, Grims. It's Wilson's ghost. Hey, Peach. What did you miss? A bunch of stuff. It's the way it always goes. Yeah, Ace, I intentionally ignored that stupidity. Yeah, when I got to it, I fucking banned it. Yeah, even in rural Kansas now, it's far more accepting than what it used to be. I hate to break that to you, Doc, but the world that we live in as far as LGBT rights goes, even in rural Texas or rural Kansas, is an entirely different world than what somebody like Two Rabbits or I grew up in, and the people who came before us grew up in. It's just the truth. Thank you, Camel. Did you ever watch Bosom Buddies? I didn't watch Bosom Buddies. I'm aware of Bosom Buddies, but I didn't watch it. Yes, Ace, I am. You haven't looked far. Wah. Nick Fuentes and his supporters are some of the weirdest fucking people on the planet and are paranoid and borderline violent. And in some instances, outright violent. I mean, we watched a video of Nick Fuentes talking about how he's convinced the government is going to kidnap him and turn him trans. He's paranoid and delusional. He might as well literally wear tinfoil or aluminum foil on his head. This motherfucker right here. Ace. God, I adore you. I really, truly do. My dad is much older than a lot of my generation's fathers. I'm 25. He's already coming to 64, but he taught me much about the world he saw. My grandmother did a bit too, but we didn't get political with her. Good, Camel. They should do that. Nick Fuentes should do that. Make the FBI do a prank raid. Jesus Christ. Fuentes is a Nazi. I don't think Fuentes is a Nazi, but he's definitely a fucking crypto fascist if there ever was. And you don't see the problem with that? Nick Fuentes is he likes to troll though. He probably just made it up. You don't see the problem with that? You don't see the potential of stochastic terrorism resulting from that. You don't see the sociopathy and the narcissism and the Machiavellianism that is the like driving force behind that. You don't see the maladjusted personality traits that would drive someone to do that. And you idolize this person. You hold them up as a shining example of something to aspire to. I mean, oh, and you're going to go with it was a joke, bro. It was a joke. It's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank. The calling card of the dickhead who got caught and called out for being a dickhead. Camel. All right, catch you later. It really was a roller coaster of a comment. Trans Ben Shapiro. Is Soros giving you special anti-aging cream? It's baby blood. Zero, it's baby blood. Yeah, that's what it is. It came out of Nick Fuentes' mouth. Of course it sounds dumb. I'm sorry. In what world would you think someone's serious when they say they're going to be kidnapped and forced trans? Have you spoken to half of these morons on the internet? Have you looked around and had a conversation with the average Trump voter? They think Bill Gates is going to microchip them. They think that if you receive a vaccine, it'll cut off your connection to God and God won't be able to speak to you anymore. I mean, come on. Yeah, I think there's plenty of people out there who would take that seriously. And even if he did it in bad faith, if he was doing it as just a joke, bro, I think there's plenty of people that listen to him that would take it seriously. And we've seen evidence of that in the instances of people storming state houses armed with rifles. We've seen the instances of Trump supporters sending pipe bombs to representatives and various government facilities. We've seen evidence of the evidence of the results of the stochastic terrorism under this regime, shall we say. Kat, I'd love to know sometimes. Yeah. Oh, wait, what was that? Hang on. I had a notification open over here. Is it just... Oh, it's one of those fucking drops. Hey, links. Peach, I'm going to charter a bus, drive it through the suburbs, take old people off the streets, and force them to be trans lesbians. Yeah, Ninja, they really are. This guy. He sent 16 improvised explosive devices to 13 targets around the country, Bieber, including 11 current or former U.S. government officials. And at the time, he was living in a van literally covered in Trump propaganda. That's who. Quick field trip to the Donald Trump. Oh, Lord. I'll consider it, RV. Oh, yeah, to prove my point. Yeah, I'll consider it, but holy shit, that place is just a shithole. I know, right? Camel. Yeah, the AJ point. It is true. I'm going to deploy my army of twunks onto the countryside to force every person to gay marry. I miss the days of the chuds trying to be funny. Another one. Yes, Curio. Comes with the territory. American nationalism is nuts. It really is. But, I mean, it comes from a lifetime of brainwashing and propagandization, right? It starts from day one. It really does. And, I mean, every day in school, the history books, the Pledge of Allegiance, the fucking sports programs, the rhetoric in society, it is nonstop, everlasting propagandization. It is ridiculous to step back and sort of third-party perspective it. Infowars, Q, Pizzagate, MAGA stickers, all that. Yeah, no, the van was insane. No, that wasn't. The dude had an anarchy flag. He didn't identify as as an actual anarchist. It wasn't anarchists who wanted to kidnap Whitmer. It was Trump supporters, who, generally speaking, anarchists aren't Trump supporters. That's problem with your fucking little one there. He did have an anarchy flag because he aestheticized anarchism, and he saw it for what he wanted to see it as, not what it is. It was 3%ers, exactly. It was not anarchists. Because it's inherently not. By the very nature, the right prefers hierarchies. It prefers systems of authority. It prefers power structures. Anarchism is antithetical to that. It literally is. No, it means no rulers. It doesn't mean no government. Nice try. And without Archos, ruler. And Greek, by the way, in case we care. There we go. Ace. Love it. Hang on. Cool boy. I do not advocate for destruction of property. I'm more down with white police officers killing unarmed black people and not going to jail level of crime. Hey, you can throw a no true Scotsman, but the fact of the matter is he didn't ascribe to any of the actual ideologies or philosophies that are inherent or intrinsic within anarchistic spectrum of ideologies, within the network of ideas that encompasses anarchism. So you can try, but I mean, fundamentally, he was a white nationalist more than anything else. And just the fact that he was nationalistic and for the state just opposed this particular governor means that he's already not really on team anarchism. But hey, who's got time for definitions and actual, ideologies? Curio. Again, anarchism isn't about anti-structure. It's not about a lack of organization. It's not about a lack of society. This is your misunderstanding of the concept, not the concept itself. Your ignorance does not equal the concept itself. Camel, by a great deal. That. ANCAPs aren't a thing. Capitalism is inherently hierarchical. It's inherently oppressive. It's inherently authoritarian. It is the strongest will survive. That is not what anarchism is about. Anarchism is about a philosophical challenging of those very principles and structures. Therefore, it is a misnomer and antithetical at best, or at worst, a bad faith attempt at an inorganic argument to give yourself philosophical or ideological cover to so you don't appear to be the right-wing chud that everybody else knows you are over on the left. Even Noam Chomsky calls out ANCAPs as not a thing. His words. Curio, dude, I have a checklist of phrases and this guy's saying them all. If you lost 30 million jobs, Genos, and you gain 4 million jobs, you're still a net loss of 26 million jobs. This is how math works. Congratulations. And no, they're not. Here's Business Insider for the more people are employed more now than ever in our history. You're literally spouting Trump talking points. Here's PolitiFact talking about the context surrounding the 400,000 manufacturing jobs. He doesn't support gay marriage actively because the people he appoints and the people he supports don't actively support gay marriage, and the people he appointed helped appoint to the Supreme Court undermine LGBT rights actively. So there we go. Let's see what else we got, because these are literally Trump talking points, like verbatim. You just keep spamming. I'm going to time you out if you keep spamming shit. Premarital. We are. Yeah, we'd use social pressures to otherwise manipulate, and society has a right to protect itself from fascists. But yeah, we would take care of everyone, including fascists. Yeah, even if you are an insufferable dickhead, anarchists would help you. Only when you violate the non-aggression principle do we violate it as well. Well, it's not a violation of the non-aggression principle once you violate it. Every individual and society itself has a right to defend itself. I'm sorry, are you still spamming fucking highlights? Keep spamming highlights and I will ban the fuck out of you. Dude. No, he's not. His actions are different from his rhetoric, and that's what Trump supporters have trouble with. Is they have trouble differentiating between Trump's rhetoric and his actions. And Trump's actions do not support gay marriage. Love the ad hominems. Not a Maoist, anarchist. Way to know the difference, though. Oh, SJW, I love the unemployment argument and the, like, we created 4 million jobs. You lost 30. You created 4. It's a net loss of 26 million jobs, and you're bragging about the 4 that you managed to scrape back. It's fucking hilarious. It's a brilliant argument, especially when you encounter it in the wild, because it is a Republican talking point. Like, it's literally a talking point distributed on a memo. Not particularly, Sam, but with that said, the tactics and praxis of conservatives in modern America, I do have a perverted admiration for. They know how to get shit done. That I respect. I do recognize their praxis is solid as far as moving the needle goes. Okay, I'm an anarchist. I'm not a fan of Obama either, Genos. You're the one who is the Trump chud. You're the one who's the bootlicking supplicant here. I criticize the system as a whole. Right, left, it doesn't really matter. I'm not a fan of any of this shit, right? I want to supplant it all. I know I don't get that, but nonetheless, that's what I advocate for. But Obama. Oh, yeah, I turned off the music for Zero, and I never turned it back on. So where'd y'all wash in from? Anarchistic Republic of Kospaya. Existed in Italy for 375 years, became such an economic threat to the Papal States that the Pope himself ordered a blockade of it and starved them out. Done. There's your example right off the top of my head. Or we could go with Makhno in Ukraine, who valiantly fought the Red Army. Could go with the Korean. No police, no judges, no court system, no formalized legal system. Anarchistic communitarianism for 375 years. We could go with the Korean anarchistic separatists who fought against the North as well. Take your pick. We could go with Spain. And during the Spanish Civil War, 50% of all industry and agriculture during the Spanish Civil War in the 1900s was produced by anarchistic communes, meaning communistic anarchists. Because I have a physical pain disability, Q-Toast, that would lead me not to be fully serve my constituents in the way that I think a politician should. It would be counterproductive. I love that you're not willing to actually engage, though, Genos. I'm not talking about Catalonia. I'm talking about Cospaia. C-O-S-P-A-I-A. But congratulations, Kill with Honor. You still don't know what I'm talking about, even after being told what I'm talking about. Brilliant. No. I've got plenty of trans people on my channel, regulars. You have heard incorrectly, Pierre. 4chan! That's where you fuckers are coming from. Holy shit! I made 4chan? Holy shit! That's impressive. Later. Do I need to give another acceptance speech? I'm done. I'm done. See, RV, there's a method to the madness sometimes. I wondered, fucking A. Holy shit, hang on. Can somebody find that shit? Cake, you're not blocked. But I don't see a comment by you for a while. Oh, except back to the Q-Toast person. Yeah, but no, you're not. Yeah, hang on. Flip a coin, please. Oops. Flip a coin. Heads. Heads. Cat. Finally happened. It finally happened. Holy shit. What did you do, Sam? What did you do? Well, it was coming one day or another. Just helping those metrics. Who's the radical left and who told you about it? Love it. Oh, I need to hang on. One sec here. There we go. Cool. Kill that. And there we go. There we go. Where am I looking here? Hang on. I need to scroll back because I had to deal with some moderating issues. Dude, Sam is dead. Jesus Christ. He was warming up to the chuds and trying to look at conservatism in a positive light. Give it 6 months. He's going to go fast. Calling it now. Fair enough. Bigly. I know, right? Well, as a member of the deep state who has now officially been targeted by right-wing streamers and now 4chan, I'd like to say on behalf of George Soros, my regional Antifa representation, the anarchistic organization, international organization, and of course, you know, baby blood eaters everywhere, that, you know, we're making progress. We're making gains. One of these days, we're going to finally be able to implement that forced kidnapping and transition program that everybody's been talking about. Yeah, it's definitely, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to have been, you know, played my role. I'm not going to lie, the Soros bucks definitely went a long way. You know, allowed me to buy some adrenochrome and to offshore some of my assets, of course. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you those of you who've been with me since the beginning, back when I wasn't a member of the deep state, and wasn't being targeted by 4chan. You know, I'm so thankful that you've all been here with me for this journey. Kat, I burned the Discord link before it got brigaded. Yes, it is sort of a Panopticon reference, Ninja. It is. The 1984 eyeball Panopticon. It is a reference to that. Well, McBarley III. I'm not an anarcho-communist. I'm an anarchist, right? And I stretch my ideologies and philosophies over a linear timeline, right? So what needs doing today will not need doing tomorrow, and what needs doing tomorrow will not need be what needs doing 10 years from now. Okay, so talking about communism in a modern sense is counterproductive, in my opinion. Now, you could go back to, say, like mid-1900s Spain during the Spanish Civil War and look at their industrial production and agricultural production was being produced by anarcho-communists, 50% of it for the entirety of the nation, right? So industrial output is easily maintained under these styles of systems. We've shown that to be true. If you can maintain high technology manufacturing under that system, we've yet to really test, but given the fact that they maintain their industrial production as well, chances are you could. But that's not what I'm an advocate for, right? I'm not an ANCOM. Wobbly. It's in the Wobblies. What I use anarchism for is a lens of analysis. It's a methodology. It's not a thing you go around and like, you know, oh, we're switching from incandescent to LED bulbs, right? It's not, we're switching from this to that sort of situation. Being an anarchist means you have a tool in your tool belt that most people don't have. It means that you can come along and analyze a philosophy, an ideology, a system, an organization, a modality of operation that in a way or a manner that most people can't. And that manner, it has inherently more equality and equitable nature to it. By the very nature of anarchism, it is about establishing a hierarchy, which is a horizontal organizational structure, rather than a hierarchy, which is a vertically integrated organizational structure. It is about a philosophical challenging of power and authority. And if they cannot justify that power and authority, then a dismantling or replacement of that system. It's not about implementing chaos. It's not about implementing a society where everybody gets to do whatever the fuck they want. That's not how it works. It's intrinsically contingent upon the non-aggression principle. So it's literally trying to establish a system in which as little harm can be done as possible from the outset. Sorry, Peach. Antifa isn't a thing. They're not a monolith. Yab. I'm going with Yab. Antifa isn't a monolith. To say, is Antifa anarchist? You can't. There are members, there are people who identify as Antifa who most certainly aren't anarchists. There will be some people who identify as Antifa that are anarchists. But Antifa is not a monolithic organization. They don't have membership roles. They don't have regional directorships. They don't have committee meetings. Like, so to say it is singularly something is an impossible task. We really need to coordinate Soros posting when the chuds come in. Like, all of chat needs to get in on it. I'm for that, Cat. Camel. Love it. Oh! Did you start your own left-right cult with all the Soros bucks? No, I didn't put my money into a cult. I'm putting it into a private island so I can escape all of this madness and, you know, the climate change wars that are coming after we alter the environment. Yeah, but we're waiting on the chemtrails for that stuff to take a full effect. Beaten down by babushkas and FSB. Still catching up on chat. Two Rabbit. I know, Mitra. I still don't even, like, Jesus Christ. Can you imagine what the safety procedures we're going to have to implement at some point? All right, so I want to scroll back up. I can't believe I made fucking 4chan. Jesus Christ. I've always made a point to avoid even saying their name because they're, I mean, dude, 4chan's insane. Like, they're properly disturbed. But oh, I got brigaded by 4chan. Interesting. Just a small contingent, admittedly. All right, so let me scroll back a ways. Are you for or against capitalism? I'm against capitalism. In the interim, we can regulate it and strap it to the floor, and I understand that's a half step that I'm willing to take. But in the long term, much like feudalism, it will go the way of the dinosaur. There will be something that comes next. And those that were entrapped and enslaved and encompassed by feudalism couldn't imagine what was coming next, which was constitutional monarchism, by the way. They had no idea what was next. That the people would have constitutionally enshrined rights and that the monarchs may be answerable to them in some way, shape, or form. They had no conception of that was coming. But it was. After feudalism came constitutional monarchism. It happened. And there were things prior to and after. People who live in capitalism are entrenched in it. They're enshrined in it. They think that there's nothing beyond it because they lack vision. They have no historical context, oftentimes. They didn't get what we call around these parts what has happened is a poverty of philosophy. They were denied the aspects of education and information that would teach them these things. So as a result, people think that capitalism is the best we can do. It's far from it. It's far from it. So, am I against capitalism? Yes. It's exploitative. It's founded upon preying upon people's baser instincts, such as greed and pride and fear and hate. It's a system that relies upon infinite growth within a finite system. It's untenable. It's impossible to keep it going forever. The best thing you can do is strap it to the floor with regulation. And even then, it will find its inevitable end state. I'm not a Marxist, but Marxist criticisms of capitalism were valid. They're logical. They're mathematical. CBT, capitalist and Bolshevik torture. Fucking A. Absolutely hierarchical. Yes, yes. Peeps forget that humans weren't allowed to read forever. Tell me about it. McBarley, round these parts, we're for gun rights. I mean, we have a contingent of foreigners that aren't for the Second Amendment, but might I quote Marx? Any attempt to surrender firearms and ammunition should be frustrated by force if necessary. Even Marx understood the point of arming the proletariat. If you find somebody who is an American and anti-gun, generally what you're talking to is a centrist or a neoliberal, right? Democrats, right? If you talk to actual leftists, there's a Socialist Rifle Association, for fuck's sake. No, I didn't. Ghost. Oh, yeah, Adam Smith. Which, who did this? It was not ERB proper, but I'll keep that up. Sure he will. Good luck with that. Where else? Where else would Back the Blue come from? Come on, Ace. Wow, we chose a semi-dangerous job even though we have less injury and death rates than pizza delivery people, but we're afraid for our lives. Come on. Yeah, RV. Let me scroll back. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. I just following that conversation too, Rabbit. I had to scroll back a ways to understand the context. But yeah. Yeah, I imagine that's a whole fucking thing. Oh. Yeah, I got a gangbanger. Thank you, Doc. Can you give me the link directly to it, Doc? Thank you, Doc. Cool. All right. um. All right. Anyway. All right. I wouldn't be surprised, Doc, if that link isn't allowed on Twitch at all. Oh! All right, so here's the funniest part. All right, so the original poster on the 4chan post used an anarcho-capitalist flag for their flag when they posted it. I'm betting it was one of those fucking chuds that I talked shit about ANCAPs to. And they ran over there and they used, all they said was Trump supporting streamer being racist. Bad friends, bad people. They support killing trans people. They tried to hit as many points. Now, here's where it got... good luck, Ace. Here's where it got interesting. They support killing trans people. 4chan responded in the way that 4chan does. What's the problem? Like, even... Like, they started talking shit about the poster. Like, come on, Anon, this is pretty basic stuff. Even a no-good retard like yourself should be able to comprehend. Like, they started dunking on the guy who posted it. In classic 4chan fashion. 4chan will eat their own in an instant. It is hilarious. Oh. But yeah, the OP for the thread identified using an ANCAP flag. So I'm guessing that's exactly what happened. Was one of those guys, I don't remember their names because quite frankly, they're not important. Why should I remember their names? I was talking mad shit about capitalism and anarcho-capitalism isn't a thing. And how, you know, hierarchy bad, that sort of thing. They ran back to 4chan. And fucking tried to get people to troll us off of that. There's one for the record books, boys and girls, and everything in between. Camel, I look at trolls, I contextualize trolls as just mentally damaged individuals, right? They're people that need therapy. There is a Canadian study that found that an overwhelming 97% of those that self-identified as internet trolls exhibited disproportionate amounts of sociopathy, narcissism, Machiavellianism, and sadism. It's called the dark tetrad of personality characteristics. Yeah, people who do that, like who I self-identify as internet trolls, like this is what I like to do, generally are disturbed individuals and could use therapy. They could benefit from it. And so I usually treat them. I mean, one, they're a nuisance, right? Like you got to get rid of them, right? It's a tumor you have to excise. But also, I always wish them well, right? I hope that they get the help, the professional help that they so desperately need more often than not. And don't get me wrong, there's a difference between trolling and being a troll. There is. Everybody enjoys a good troll from time to time, right? It can be fun. But, see, and I just addressed it, McBarley. There's a difference between trolling and being a troll. Do you self-identify as being an internet troll? If somebody said, "Are you an online troll?" If your immediate answer is no, then chances are no, because that was the filter that the psychologists ran them through first, was you have to identify yourself as an internet troll. See? Even yourself. No. There you go. So, I wish them luck. I wish them well. So, Kat, Mitre, I think you guys are still here. I'm going to have to get rid of the Discord command outright. It's not something we can viably run. Why did they discriminate against bridge trolls? I know, right? It can't exist. So what I'm going to do is potentially allow you guys to issue invites. Because that's how it's probably going to have to be from it moving on into the future. Otherwise, we're inviting disaster. I was a real-life troll in my younger years, but used my darkness unselfishly now. That's good. You grew up. See, that's the thing. I mean, everybody knows fucking teenagers are monsters. So, yeah. Like, that's, you just grew the fuck up. Some people, that's not in the cards. So let me check something here. Okay, I just got your whispers over on... I do not check whispers, Doc, so you know. It's not a thing I look at. Alright, cool. Premarital high school teacher here can confirm teachers are the literal antichrist. It took legal trouble and lots of meta work. Well, good for you, though. You got the work done. Two Rabbit, I'm forever grateful most internet history sites don't go back far enough to find my teenage nonsense. I think the majority of mine is lost as well to the annals of nothingness. Yeah. Got distracted there for a second. Fuck yeah. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do. Alright, everyone. I think we're gonna end on a high note. I think we're gonna end on the fact that we got raided. We got somebody riled up enough, an ANCAP riled up enough that they ran over to 4chan in an attempt to drum up all sorts of bullshit and send it our way. I think that is... I'm happy with that. Oh, they're still trying. All right. No, we're not going to, Cat, because I don't want to send it his way. I don't want to host him. We could. But yeah, Doc is telling me that there are still new posts being created over on 4chan. The anti-fandom is strange. It is, isn't it? I want to see the clip. Hang on.
Yeah. So okay, so Victoria and the other bitch, and the bully chick was like being a bitch to her and like slapped her books out her hand and shit, and then you like smash cut to just fucking pounding fucking the shit out of her, and from the angle that it's at, it's like behind him, and it makes it seem like it's the bully chick, like fucking like Victoria fucking the Christian girl, but then like she pulls out and then you see the face and it's the Christian girl fucking the bully chick, and I was like, oh shit, it's like a role reversal, and then she just continues to just smash the shit out of her. It was actually really fucking cool. Yeah. So okay, so Victoria and
all right. All right, everyone. I think we are going to go over and raid Curio. Yeah, I'm going to jump on Curio's air and say hi to Curio and brag about my new accomplishment, and go from there. It's been weird. It's been educational. It's been instructive. It's been. You guys know the deal. KaisThings.com, KISThings.com. I hope you're as well as you can be. Till next time. Let's start this raid, motherfuckers. And rating.